recording.
Mr. Logan. That was pathetic.
That was the wimpiest.
Take it away.
There we go. Clap and a snap.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Midnight Movie Distillery. I'm one of your hosts, Logan Lynch.
I'm another one of your hosts, Warwick Price.
Yeah.
And I'm Lon Black, and sitting to my right is the lovely and talented Mike Notch from Everyday Barbecue, a great channel on YouTube.
Has nothing to do with movies. But.
Which makes no difference to me because that's where I go and get my food porn.
But we're collaborating,
When
so that
you-
means you could watch his stuff, then come watch ours, because he'll make food that you can eat while you're watching.
Watching horror
Oh.
movies.
That's true.
And in order to do that, you must subscribe to both channels.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
it's a requirement.
As a matter of fact, let's give them 2 seconds to do that, like right
Yeah,
now.
right now.
To this
Right
channel.
now, subscribe.
Subscribe right now.
Please.
Subscribe.
If you're here from Everyday Barbecue, we also want you to comment to let us know that you're here from Everyday Barbecue.
Yeah.
Because we want to know.
Let them know I got that kind of pool.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, he is no longer welcome as a
He's
guest in the
dead
show.
to us.
Yeah, and I want to come back.
And
I
we
think I
kind of
would.
like having him here, but if it's not working, man, you know.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's all about the Benjamins.
All right. And we'll put all his information in the
No,
link
he's
below,
Mike.
providing that Lon doesn't get too drunk and forget to put it in the comments below. But we'll see if we can work
So
that
what
out.
else do we do on this fine podcast?
We pair a liquor,
Liquor?
not always a whiskey,
Mm-hmm.
not always a bourbon,
Hint.
not
wink,
always
wink,
a scotch.
Nudge, nudge.
But anybody got any guesses this week? Logan last week had a guess on
weeks ago.
the Irish whiskey, and honestly, I'm happy. I'm proud of you that you guessed Irish whiskey because you saw that it was an Irish film, and not everybody picks up. Even the Brit in the room thought it was a British film, not an Irish film. So, what?
Just trying to lay claim to
Do you have any guesses on this?
Well, we haven't even announced the movie. We're
Yeah.
Oh, we
yeah.
have.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we might want to let
Warwick,
people know.
How
that.
did we
fuck,
miss that
dude?
part?
I don't know.
That's why he's here.
It's a good
That's
thing I'm
man.
here.
Warwick
is my
fucked
fault.
up. Thank you very much
So
for setting him straight.
For anyone
Yeah.
who watched last week's podcast, YouTube podcast, listen to whatever
Episode.
episode.
If you heard, saw, or
we
whatever
have a theme. Our theme is scary clowns
for this series.
for this series, and so of course, how can we do a series on scary clowns and not do Terrifier? So we watched the 2016
Terrifier.
full length. Huh?
I said I thought it was terrifier.
Terrifier.
Oh,
It is Terrifier.
Jesus.
So the full length.
Anyway.
We're off to a good start.
We
I
are
know.
not any sort of thing like
the
a
full
house
length
call.
Terrifier, as opposed to the short from 2011, and obviously not All Hallows Eve from 2013. So, with that, what else do we do on this fine podcast of ours?
We still pair a liquor with the movie, as aforementioned.
Okay.
So, what? And we got a favorite scene from this movie, or a scene that stands out in your head as being one of the most graphic scenes. In this
Where the
movie?
girl gets cut in half.
girl gets cut in
I
half.
gotta go with that.
Okay,
So
so
I had a nickname for it.
oh,
I called it Hacksaw Vag, but
oh,
which I think
actually,
should be
I like
that should be the name of a band.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Hacksaw
but-
Vag. That's a good punk band.
That'll work for a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's a
Yeah.
good punk band.
Yeah.
name. Did you ever notice? So I'm watching this with my wife,
How does that? Oh.
who's a big Art the Clown fan. When he's cutting through, he's got a hacksaw. How does he get through that spine? How does he get through the backbone?
perineum.
It's a movie.
Yeah. Oh yes.
I'm so proud of you.
He's all
brother.
grown up
I'm
and he's
so
all
proud of
grown
you.
Well, also
Good man.
on that
You
same
just
on that
go
same
with it.
on that same vein, without thinking that it is in fact yes,
Actually, would it
a
be a
movie.
vein or a cord?
She's alive for a lot longer than I would expect her
Agreed.
to be alive.
A lot
Halfway
longer than
through
she
my
would
bag.
actually
Yes.
be.
I would have been gone. I would have been unconscious halfway through.
Yeah, because
my
of the
own bag.
pain, if nothing
Right.
else.
But I was always impressed that he was able to cut through the backbone.
I think he may have gone to the side, possibly. Is what I.
Shut up.
I think there is a point.
The word backbone means something here.
Yes.
Oh,
We have backbone bourbon.
nice.
Let's
Good.
see Art carve through this.
Are we?
This
And
is-
the pun on that. Did you notice the pun on the front of this?
The pun on the front of the?
Yeah, the pun on the front of that bottle.
Oh, the decade down or the
No,
uncut?
uncut.
Uncut. Yeah, no, that was on purpose.
Wah, wah.
Right, that
I
was
like
on
that.
purpose. Because there is several different backbone bourbons. I bought the one that was uncut.
Is there a backdoor bourbon?
You want to get a little cut over to
gonna-
this
Camera,
one?
camera
Warren?
two.
Cutting over. Bam.
Way to jump on that. Okay.
Camera two.
Yeah.
There we go.
Backbone.
You got that? So
Good. Camera
this
three.
is
And back to camera one.
this won the World Spirit competition in 20 2022.
So recent.
And it's the anniversary edition of Backbone Bourbon. It's a straight bourbon whiskey made in 2022. 55%. Yes, sirs. It is 110 proof.
Wow.
Potent.
It is potent. It is uncut. It is an uncut, straight bourbon whiskey. We know what straight means, right? What does straight mean?
It's all one. It's
No.
all. It's all one.
It's not. It has no Bud Light in it. I'm
It
just kidding.
means it
I
has
didn't know we could go there on this.
I'm doing it. I don't care.
I mean, this would have changed things.
Oh goodness.
Sorry.
I
Lon, go
weep
ahead.
for.
So wh-
Means that there's no added colors, flavors, anything after. It's pulled
Oh.
straight from the cask,
Which
into
is
the
pretty
bottle,
impressive considering how
except
dark it
for
is.
water. Exactly. It is super dark. So this is a 10-year aged bourbon. I believe it's 10 years aged. I could be. Oh,
7.
3.
Dude.
bottled on 22. So it's handwritten in here, but that was bottled on December of 22. Aged in months. What does that say?
2.
L2.
L2. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
I thought it could have been CZ.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what the fuck that means.
L2.
I'm gonna pass this bottle around in a second. Somebody can do it, but a lot of the stuff is even handwritten on there, and it's got the bones in there, but it's uncut, unfiltered. So this is. Go ahead, you can cut that.
I was gonna say you could-
Uncut means normally it means I would think cask strength, because it's not cut with
So
water.
is that just an if you're in the know you understand that, or is that
No,
kind
it's
of
a
like
standard.
a
It's a
Okay.
verbiage. So just like when they say straight bourbon whiskey, that's what they mean by there's nothing added to it other than water to cut it.
Okay.
This says
So this says
uncut.
uncircumcised.
Correct.
I know it has liquid in it. This is really heavy.
It's very heavy. It's thick glass, I think. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's more dense. This is more dense. It's the
Yeah,
uncut.
it's the
Uncut,
glass.
right. It's a
Yeah.
little bit, it's
More
because it's
dense,
not
yeah.
watered down.
Right.
Cut with water.
So I'm wondering, is that meant to be a 1-2 for 12 years? I don't know.
Oh, the number on the back?
Yeah.
Well, it was in months, so I
Oh,
doubt
that
if
was
it
in
was
months,
aged for
okay.
12 months, because that's
Yeah, I
not too
don't know.
long. That's a rested
Oh,
whiskey, if
boy.
anything.
Maybe it's 22.
But, yeah, that could be 20, no way. Oh, 22 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be that, 22 months.
I don't know. Does that look like it too? Well, I guess somebody scribbled.
That's why they
We-
don't
we have no
handwrite
idea.
stuff.
It's handwritten.
We need stamps.
It's
God
handwritten.
damn it.
But
That's why people
I'm-
use computers.
I'm very excited because one, it's got a little award on it. Two, it's got bones on it. I love that. Three, it's uncut, and four, it's 110 proof.
Yeah.
So
All right.
quit talking, crack open.
Quit talking, crack it
Let's
open.
go.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Crack it.
And maybe I can find out how you crack this son of a bitch.
What did you
Oh, there we
name
go.
that scene?
Hacksaw Vag.
That'd be a good name for a female wrestler.
Oh,
yeah.
And that would be her
Wow.
like, move. Would be
In the
some karate
WWE.
chops
I
and
like
right in
it.
the groinal
I like
Of
it.
course,
region.
it would be the WWE.
Where's Vince McMahon? Vince,
Yeah.
I'm your guy. I can come up with
He's
good names.
fired. He's fired from
He's
there
a
now,
criminal.
Isn't he? He's no longer.
Is he?
Yeah, or he quit, or he left, or something. I don't know. It's
That's
been a while.
probably just part of the storyline.
Yeah, I'm sure you still have.
I'm going to
You-
start
you
bringing
need
a
help there?
fucking jackknife. to these.
You're
Do
fired.
you need a?
Dick, you're fired.
Yes.
I'm getting it. I
Ed,
have
Ed
nails.
209.
Nice work.
Thought you were
I have
busting out the
nails.
teeth on that one. Woo! All right, let's see. I think
That's
it all
literally-
depends on the pop.
Yeah.
If it pops good, then
ready?
it's gonna make a good.
Can you hear that? Oh,
The cork's gonna get stuck in it.
Yeah,
Right.
you're twisting too much.
hold on.
Twist him by the pull.
Be gentle.
Oh
Jesus Christ.
Pull him out. Pull it out.
I feel bad for your wife.
Oh.
Oh, that was a
Oh.
little bit of a wet pop, wasn't it? This
Getting
is,
a little
So you're saying it
uncomfortable, guys.
squirted?
This
Is what
thing
you're
is-
telling me?
look at how full that is.
That is
Wow.
scary.
That's barely room for the cork. All
So
right.
that means
They
the cork's been
definitely
in it.
don't
All right,
sell
we
you
gotta-
short.
We got to pass it because that's what we do.
Pass me the pill.
Okay. All right. We're talking robust.
This is very robust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
very robust.
I'm getting excited.
So this is our smell test portion, just to
Yeah.
prepare ourselves.
Good
and our
point. We do
senses.
need to tell people who are listening to the podcast on
Yeah.
a podcast channel.
You just hear us breathing heavy.
Right. We're just going ooh ooh. You gotta say what that is. That. Thanks for that sound
No problem.
orama.
Just wanted to illustrate it a little
I
bit.
appreciate that.
I'll wait to say my portion of it, but
Yeah.
I'm just.
I smell lavender.
I'm
Interesting.
I smell
Lavender,
sweet.
huh? Sweet
yeah,
and flowery.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
Okay,
getting. I'm getting
okay.
sweet, not so much.
I'm not going
flowery.
to say you're wrong. It's just the smell
All right.
test. That
Thick,
means nothing.
robust,
And
sweet.
really, It's a little tough. Yeah.
Syrupy. Syrupy.
It's
Oh,
when it's
see?
in the glass, you get the
You know
full.
what? Now that you said that.
Oh, see, now this is where I get worried that we're changing your.
Well, I smelled a lot of potency to it. That didn't mean it wasn't a flowery potency. Let's
Yeah.
just sample.
Let's
it,
just
bitch.
drink the damn
Let's
thing.
just drink this damn thing. I'm not. Oh no! I gave myself a heavy pour.
Oh darn! Shucks.
Nice and
Mike, is
easy.
this
Nice
yours?
and easy. I got a
All right,
long
I'll be-
drive.
I'll be
yeah.
easy for you
Yeah,
there,
you're fine.
brother. That's
Beautiful.
as easy as you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's good enough.
You want to pass me that glass there? Would you be? Thank you very much,
Ooh, so right now we're pouring
Mr. Price.
just to give everybody
Pass that
a
down.
There
Thank
go,
you, thank
sir.
you.
Yep.
everybody that's not watching some information that clanking is another heavy pour.
Oh,
Thank
Mr.
you.
my
Lynch,
God.
Jesus,
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
Good luck with your drive
Holy.
home. Sorry about
Wow.
Holy
Love you
moly.
too, Lon. Love you too.
that. Good luck with that, brother.
Oh, good.
All right, now we can. Oh my God, this cork is a fucking Jesus Christ. Okay.
Damn. Pounded on that.
Ooh.
Now it's whoa. Now I'm
It's
like.
definitely got some.
Now I'm getting the proof. The
Yeah, I mean the
110.
potency is definitely
yeah.
there.
Okay. You know what this makes me think of?
Oh. Oops.
Wolf Point.
Mm.
Do you remember how
Absolutely. Yep,
potent
yep.
Wolf Point was?
Yep.
Did it follow up taste? The
It
same
did,
Way?
but it was
Yes.
one of those things that you taste the first one, you're like, holy shit. And then you taste the second one, you're like, holy
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
And then by the third sip, you're like, holy shit, this is great.
Yeah.
But the first one's off-putting. That's why you got to go 3 sips in, brothers. 3 sips. We're
Yeah.
going to make a T-shirt.
I'm telling you, that should be our slogan.
MMD. Go
3 sips in a
in.
review. Going 3 deep.
Going
There we
3 sips deep.
Cheers, gentlemen.
All
Yeah.
Here we
right,
go. All right, this is my first sip.
Yes, the first one is definitely a little bit.
Holy
It's definitely
shit.
potent.
That just cleared out my sinuses.
Holy, it burned
It
out
cleared
my
out my
sinus
sinuses as I
completely.
was drinking.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, sip number
Okay,
2.
so now I'm hoping that first one is the burn.
Right,
It
to
is.
get
And
that
the
out of the
second
way.
one I'm going to
'Cause
start seeing.
I'm on my second. It's definitely smoother the second time.
Yeah, definitely smoother. But still, like, it's
Fuck
stinging my
me.
nostrils as I'm drinking.
I don't know.
Oh.
Am I
Smooth
breathing
just
fire?
doesn't come to mind at
Am
all.
I breathing fire?
It,
I think your
Okay.
eyes are watering.
yeah.
But flavors, think of flavors.
Okay,
think
now,
of-
yeah, I'm third one. I'm going to go with
Don't just
flavor.
go burn. My tongue is still oily, and I'm only 2 sips in. 3 sips in, brothers. 3 sips in.
I've got my 3. I think that.
Wow.
I think we're ready for
That's
wow.
for
That's
barrels.
strong, boy.
Wow.
Yeah, this will definitely put hair on your chest.
Wow.
That's a man's bourbon.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Single number? Oh, of course
Right.
not.
Haven't you watched the show?
He doesn't watch the
You're
show.
too complicated
Come on.
of a
Come on.
human.
Damn right.
Okay. Damn right. Is he Shaft? Can you dig it?
Damn right. Can you dig it?
Damn right. Shaft.
1 or 2 digits.
I got 2.
I got 2.
I got the double deuce
I am.
digits.
I'm going double digits on this too.
Going single.
Single
Ooh,
digit.
he's going single.
Because he rates everything at 3. That's his thing.
Or he could be going 4.
He's
right,
not going to
I'm
go
He's
for
not going 4. Ooh, we're ready.
Wow.
I got to
One or
put him
two
in the
digits,
right
Mike.
order this
Oh,
time.
he's going double digit. I'm so proud of you.
I am. I just want to be like you.
Good
Yeah.
man. Good man. Good man.
you want to be
like Lon.
I got to make sure I got mine
Like
in the right
Lon.
order too, because I
If I
can
could
fuck
be
that
like
up
Lon.
real bad. Okay.
All right.
Are
Hopefully
you
I'll get
kids
it on my
ready?
first try.
1,
2.
3.
Bam. Did I get
So
it right?
this is
What do
a
you
Two,
got?
no,
Oh,
wait, wait, wait.
no shit.
There we go.
All right, Logan.
Logan gave it a 3.2.
Warwick gave it a 3.
Ooh.
2.1.
Oh.
3.4.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well, at least we know who the alcoholic is.
4.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Explain yourself.
Yeah,
All
let's save it. Let's start off with the heavy end.
Oh,
here.
all right. Okay. Well, I get a lot of fig. I get a lot of plum. I get a lot of
We're talking about the drink here, right?
Yeah.
yes. I get a lot of dark, rich fruit notes out of this, especially on the finish. The only reason it didn't really make a 4 is because of that heat.
Ooh.
Now, taking that into account, I would put this over a giant cube and be in heaven.
Really?
I think 1 cube would make this stuff outstanding. And that's just because it's so strong it can hold up to the cube. But man, when you get it, because it's a little warm, I don't know, warm, but you know, lower than room temperature, I'd say, or warmer than room temperature, I get heavy, creamy fruit notes, and I love them. That plum is, to me, beautiful.
How would you compare this to the, what was it, Wolf?
Wolf Point. Wolf
Point?
Point's different. Wolf Point, it does not taste like Wolf Point. Smells like Wolf Point, doesn't taste like Wolf Point. Wolf Point has that funk, not like an Irish whiskey
good funk.
A good funk. That is kind of like that weird, like, what is that
Like
flavor?
George Clinton
I
funk.
was gonna say George Clooney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a little.
You got it. Where Wolf Point, you're like, I don't know what that is, but it's addictive.
Okay.
Because by your 4th sip, you're like, I got to drink the whole bottle.
Okay.
This is very rich, very potent, but the only downfall is it's a little too hot. But again,
Do you think
Ice Cube would fix that?
Do you think, and we could find this out in the next episode, do you think by the time you finish the bottle, you'll become accustomed to that burn?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've tried many high proof bourbons, whiskeys, absinthe that mellow out the more you drink them because you become used to it, right?
Absolutely. Like this is, I've had now like 5 or 6 sips on this, and it's like, it's funny because that very, very first taste, I was like, huh.
Right.
I had
'Cause
my
it
whole
was-
like
it
weird
kicked you
face
right
'cause
in
it
the
was like,
face.
Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
Definitely cleared the sinuses.
I don't know. I don't know whether necessarily I can tell. I smell plums and figs. I still.
I'm with you on that.
I still.
I think somebody's just showing off over there, but that's just me.
I'm just telling you what it tastes.
Because you know I don't
Just
think there's
telling you
lots
what
of
it
plums
tastes.
and figs in Tennessee. I'm just saying.
Where
but
is this one made?
but it's like I do.
New York
I
City.
Said, I said lavender initially, and it's like I still smell lavender. There's something a little bit flowery about.
Sure.
I do smell the flowers.
The taste to it.
Sure.
But it really is funny because it's like that burn that I thought was like relatively unpleasurable on the first couple of sips.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of liking.
Okay. I'm gonna go the lawn route. So, I did not get fig, or I did feel lavender. I agree with you on that
The
one.
smell mostly. That's more of a.
Yeah. But the
Nose.
burn. So I'm quite the chili pepper nut. So to me, the burn, I'm a bit of a sadomasochist to my tongue, but
Awesome.
I liked it. It was enough that it, I like when you feel it in your mouth, but then it kind of makes its way up into your sinuses and out the front of your nose. That
And
to
for
me
you,
is,
that's a hell of a trip.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's a long
if it can
road.
make it that far on this
That's
fucking
a-
schnoz, but anyway, but no,
like a
it
cruise.
And the funny thing is it even it's like oceans. Oh God, the sea, Lynch Sea. Anyway, no, but I was even getting burn as I was sipping on some of this through just the breathing in. I tried it without breathing in through my nose on like
That's
the third or
bad
fourth one.
because eventually you
Right.
die.
Right.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
breathe it in.
Yeah,
Just
but
smell it. Don't breathe it.
I think that makes it pop more though, because then when I did it without and with smelling at the same time, I felt like it lessened it when I was taking a breath in.
Yeah.
But then when I did it without, it seemed to it didn't have that much of a punch. But
I will throw in the fact that there are specific tasting techniques that people talk about. Really, I think most of them are bullshit. But because really, again, like we always
Yeah.
say, the best whiskey is the one you like, the way you like it, which isn't mine. That's Whiskey Tribe. Thank you. Hail Whiskey Tribe. But breathing in a little bit of air helps get some oxygen in there, helps open it up, just like they air out wines, just like you air out some other things.
so you're saying we need a decanter for our
Yeah, I hate decanters. I really do hate decanters because they're
There goes
not
that birthday
airtight.
present.
They evaporate. I put some high-end whiskeys, scotches specifically, in decanters. They evaporate and then the taste just starts to go south. Don't do.
Well,
don't
but
do
for
decanters,
stuff
people.
like this though, couldn't we do just a small amount in a decanter for us to drink?
Just to
here
look fancy?
finish? Yeah, to
and
Yes.
lift our pinky while
yeah,
we pour it.
Yeah, when in doubt,
Yeah.
pinky out.
Or
right?
we could just guzzle right out of the bottle,
Yeah, there you go.
like the
There
uncivilized
you go.
swine we
Yes.
are. Right.
But no, I was a fan of the burn. But I would definitely. This is something we were mentioning, like how many glasses we would drink of it. This one would be probably a one decent sized pour.
Oh, really?
but-
Oh, I could drink this.
no, meaning like in one sitting. Like it's potent enough that I'm thinking by the end of a half a glass, I'll be on my ass. So
See, but I think this is if I put it on the rocks or one rock specifically because you don't want the water down so much, but you do want it to be cold. I think I could go through like 2 or 3. The problem with that
You
is
think
going through
whiskey
2 or
stones are
3, I'd
good?
be on the floor. No, not whiskey stones. You want a little
You
bit
want
of
to
water.
water it down a little?
You want it. It's 151 proof. It'll hold up.
150, 110. I thought you said.
What was it?
It's
110.
55.
Oh, so
55,
Therefore,
110.
it's
110.
110.
I'm sorry,
There we go.
110. Thank you.
Math.
All right, so let's get Mike's opinion.
I mean, it's very potent. I think the only thing about it would be for me is if you're going to drink it neat, it would have to be a really slow sipper.
yes.
Sure.
And I think
Don't
it would get
shoot
a
it.
I think it would get a 1 point better rating from me if I had a big cube in there.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
But
A
I
little
don't,
cube would be all
so
right.
I don't
Wait,
know.
That's
and
true.
but I will
Yep,
say
we
that
don't.
it's just a little too much of everything, but it's good. I like it. I mean, there's nothing off-putting in this,
Right.
other than
The flavors are good.
the flavors are really
They're just
good. The
strong.
burn's a little high,
Sure.
but it's
It's
not
110.
it's not terrible. But I just think that if there was a cube in here, I think I would like it more because I think I could enjoy it. I could enjoy more of it for a longer time. Drinking it this way, it's I mean, yeah, you get used to it, but like half a glass of this, and I think I'd be on the floor.
Well, clearly, 110. I agree. I would. But the more I taste it, like when I go in for it, it's very oily. It's very
yeah.
slick and thick.
It's
I
thick.
agree.
It's very thick. I smelled the thickness, and this
Right.
this just
But
follows it up.
It's almost like it's a cordial without the sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of sweet, it's cordial that's hot.
One thing I do like is it's not overly sweet.
It's agreed.
Because
Yes.
sometimes
I don't like
when you
bourbons
have
that
something with this much robust flavor, the
Right.
sweetness is just they really step on the gas to a point to where it's not it's too fake tasting.
Okay.
You know,
I know where you're going with that.
Um,
because it's sweet, it sounds more. It's almost like it's going too much to a cordial.
correct? Yeah.
Not
What-
an actual
so-
spirit.
like one of that original barbecue one that we had.
Oh,
Screw-
It was
Screwball?
I thought it was it
Screwball?
curvy? Curveball.
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 Have you had curveball, Mike?
Never.
I'm gonna bring you some curveball.
That was the
I still
that,
have it.
Do you?
that was the one where basically
Not
it's
much.
like
but
No, they.
when you smelt it, you go, oh my god, I smell
you
like
would
I
think you
Yeah.
should try it.
you
definitely.
smell and it's like I'm at the best like Louisiana like barbecue
It
pit.
smells
just,
like
oh
you're
God, it's
standing
just-
over a barbecue
It is
pit.
like just
But it's not just the
amazing.
barbecue smell.
It's
It's
a-
like a barbecue sauce.
It's when you're I was gonna say
Yes.
you're standing over a barbecue pit as you're putting the sauce
Yeah.
on.
Right.
That's
But
what
but when you taste it, you get that initial you still get that same thing initially, but then you are so hit with the sweetness of it
Right.
that it just takes away any pleasure
Right.
that you may have got from the smell.
Right.
Which I don't like.
No, not a way he does.
Because
but-
then it's a
Oh, I
cordial
love the
thing.
sweet
And that-
stuff.
That's
Like,
when we
yeah,
hand it
my
over to
sweet-
Logan
I'm gonna have diabetes soon.
because he's got a sweet tooth.
Diabetes.
And we don't.
Well,
It says
But
this
it's an
is between
experience.
5 to 7 years.
What is?
The bourbon.
Oh, this one.
Yes,
Yeah.
5 and.
I
between 5
like
and
it.
7.
It's just it's a bit punchy.
It's
For
super
drinking it. If
punchy.
you're gonna drink it neat, it's
Punch you in
it's
the
a bit
face
punchy.
kinda punchy.
Speaking of punch you in the face, it's kind of like the movie we watched, isn't it?
Boy, is it. Because it's backbone, it is what this movie is all about is got backbone.
yes.
This movie is backbone in your
not,
face.
Not Dawn. Dawn
No,
doesn't have a
Dawn
backbone
doesn't have
anymore.
backbone anymore. Which she probably does. It's just it's split in
Yeah.
two. Too soon.
It's never too soon. All right, so seeing as how this is our Terrifier opener, let's rate Terrifier so we can dive into that bitch.
I almost feel like I'm playing cards.
I know, right?
Yeah. Don't look. Don't look. Okay.
You can't because if Warwick sees it, he'll be influenced. He's a very influenced.
I'm a bad influence.
Bad influencer. All right, are we ready?
Bad boy.
I don't know. Wait, I don't think Mike's
Oh,
ready
oh,
yet.
Mike's
Mike's
really
still
thinking
deciding.
about
He's
it.
trying to find his single
He's
card.
thinking about it.
No,
Oh,
I'm going a little more complicated. here.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
All right.
Ready?
1,
2.
3. Oh, yeah, you should do the 3. Actually.
I think I did this right.
Wow, what?
Yep.
Is that 5.3?
No, wait, there we
Jesus
go.
Christ,
Jesus, I
Logan.
cannot- everything's
Seriously, how old
reversed.
are you?
We've
What
only
the
been doing this
fuck?
for like 4 years.
What did you do?
So it's
I
supposed to be
I did a
3.5.
4.5.
Okay, so Logan gave it a 3.5.
Amen,
Warwick
brother.
gave it a 3.5.
Nice.
Mike?
4.1.
Nice.
Because
okay.
it's better than a 4.
Yes.
Amen, brother. 4.5. It's
Wow.
barely shy
Okay.
of perfect.
Wow. Okay.
Well, technically, we were the lowest.
I know.
Let's
so
hear
I
it.
guess we'll start off.
Although it's weird because low, what was your score?
3.5.
Yeah, 3.5
So-
being lowest? I mean,
so-
come on, that's pretty high.
If we
Yeah.
wanted to really end the episode right now, we could just say go watch it. But no, we're not going to do that. I think this was a movie that I sort of felt kind of like Mike did initially with The Stitches, where at first you're kind of like, okay, what the hell's going on here? This is not that great, but I believe that David Howard Thornton, who played Art, really sold that character, and I
Amen,
think
sister.
that's what kept me watching it. Otherwise, I would have probably, if I have seen All Hallows Eve, and that I think Mike has mentioned this as well to us, not on camera, but the All Hallows Eve, I was bored. With this, David Howard Thornton's art kept me intrigued, and it's so. I don't know if he did miming or anything like that when he was.
Yes.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah,
'cause
he studied to be a mime.
Jesus Christ! Like everything that he did with that character was, he didn't have to say a word, and I loved that part of it, which kind of harkened back to my love of like Michael Myers and Halloween. Didn't have to say a damn word. Scary as hell.
Right.
And just like the characters in the movie, if I saw that walking on the street, even on Halloween, I'd be shitting my pants. So, or throwing shit all over a bathroom. But yeah, I definitely felt like I gave it a 3.5 just because some of the acting was subpar. It could have been better. But David Howard Thornton definitely stole the show on this. The main character, I thought she did a pretty good job. Dawn was annoying as shit,
Yeah.
but I think that means she
But
did
that
her
was the
job.
point.
Yeah, I
That's
think
why
she did
she
her
got
job.
cut.
There always has to be
Yeah,
one
she,
of
she
those.
was,
Yep,
all,
yep,
she was
yep.
all the
But
bimbo
There
friend.
always
you're
has to be
happy-
one of those.
Right.
Sorry, I was too far away
Right.
from the mic.
The one
Yeah.
you have to.
It definitely
Oh,
it's.
shit, you were like back here.
I was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who the
I'm
hell
being
you are?
more. I'm
Yeah.
scrutinizing it just because of the fact that this was, but it's a sleeper. Like a lot of people heard of it. Granted, it is very graphic. It's very gory, which I'm not a huge fan of normally. But in this, it goes with it. It goes well with the movie. So I'll let you kind of give your opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
before I talk.
I pretty much agree 100%. I mean, I think it's one of the things for me where I've said it before to other people, Art the Clown, I think is, a modern day classic character that will literally go down in history to be on par with like Freddy and Jason and Michael. I mean,
Totally
it's-
agree.
There's something with the way that character was created, and you're 100% correct. David Howard Thornton, I always get the last part wrong. Like he embodies that character.
Yep.
I mean, he just does such an amazing job.
He nailed it.
And as I've explained to other people, it's like I'm someone that I love the original Saw, love the original Hostel, but all subsequent versions of those movies played so much into the graphic nature of the gore and how can we make it more extreme and all this kind of stuff. And so almost by nature, I shouldn't like this movie because it is very, very gory. But it's like there is just something with the way art reacts and communicates with the camera, and that just makes you love it. I mean, and it's so sick to say it, but
true.
it is
Yeah.
like
I don't think it's sick to say it at all. I think that was the whole point. I think they found somebody that made that work.
yeah, it's so entertaining. I mean, I love it. I mean, this watching is probably at this point now probably only the sixth time, sixth time I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Still love it just as much as the very first time I watched it. Actually, probably love it more than the very first time because I think the very first time I did have a little bit of like, like, what am I watching? It
Mhm,
just it
mhm,
wasn't until like it really got like about halfway through where you really started appreciating his mannerisms.
Yep.
This isn't a movie that you're a one and done. I think this is a movie that you appreciate it more the second time
Agreed.
and
Little
subsequent movies.
nuances that you missed the first time or something.
Yeah.
I think
Mr.
this
Notch.
movie starts out in a way where you look at it as what it is, which was a low budget film.
Yep.
And by the time it's
$35,000,
done,
by the way.
yeah,
Really?
by the time
That's
it's
way
done,
low.
you rank it up there with the best that you've ever seen.
Absolutely.
I mean, Art carries the whole movie. That character is unbelievable. For whatever bad acting there is, or shortcomings to the story, he just makes up for it in such a way that you don't even think about any of that. And I think it was when we got to the parking lot scene, which was maybe there's like a parking garage and she's hiding in the cars. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Ah,
That was so well done to me that took it from low budget to like top-notch horror film.
yeah, because the
It was
story was actually
suspenseful.
sort of right. The suspense.
Yeah,
yeah.
but
yeah,
the
yeah.
way it was done in a way that it wasn't low budget like.
Yeah.
It was just
Yep.
it was very, very well done. And that's kind of when I flipped and said, I'm watching a legit horror flick here, And the rest of the movie was not disappointing. And it was gory as hell, but it wasn't
goriest ever.
it was done so well by him with the way he's got this snide comedic way of doing everything and zero emotion for what he's doing.
Yep.
And everything seems to be random yet well thought out.
Yep.
I mean, I really loved it. I did not think I was going to. I really
Really?
thought I was
Yeah.
just going to be like
See,
really
I
turned
love it
off
when
by
that
it, but
happens.
I
Yeah.
loved it. It's one of my favorites, and yeah, I mean, I've already seen. Yeah, well, of course, you guys have seen two also. That just takes it to a whole nother level. But yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
So
And there's another one coming.
Yeah.
yes, that's true. There is a Terrifier 3 on the horizon being
Yep.
filmed currently, but 2004. Or I'm sorry, 24
Right.
movie. So to me, there's whenever you make a movie, whether it's low budget or high budget, there's so many places that it can fail. You've got to start with good writing. If you don't have good writing, the movie's shit. Then if you have good writing and then you start shooting and the acting is good, great. If it's bad, your movie goes to shit. Then if you have good writing and good acting, then you have to have good editing. Otherwise, your movie is shit. So there's so many places in making a movie. That's why it's so hard to really make a movie, because there's so many places that all you need is one step in the process to fail, and the whole movie fails. This made past every one of those steps. The story was good. The acting was good. Even when there were parts where the acting was bad, the acting was good.
Correct.
The budget, I can't believe they were able to pull off these special effects and whatnot with the budget.
Right.
Okay, the blood was a little bright. Oh, so what? You got into it. It made it look gory. It was wonderful. And the acting was still great. The main characters who it pivoted around, they were wonderful.
That's the key.
Right?
Because I think the ones that were bad were things like the brother of the exterminator guy.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
like,
Correct.
just
Correct.
it's the ancillary characters that I thought were not good.
That's where they saved money.
Right.
And a lot of the low budget films, like the victim characters, you don't really get very attached to them because
Right.
you're just like, you're kind of disengaged from it. You're just
Right.
kind of trying to see what's happening.
Right.
You kind of grew. What was her name?
Tara.
Which one? Oh, Tara.
Tara. Yeah,
Tara
you
was the main character.
grew to
Main-
like
not
her.
the main.
Like
Oh, absolutely.
You wanted
course
her
you
to find a way to escape.
Because she
but you
played
knew
it
she had little
correctly.
chance of doing that.
Because they played her off as she's going to be the final girl, and she wasn't the final girl.
Right.
That was that I think that right there was the thing that like all the way like even quite frankly even when she gets shot the first time
In the
and-
face or in the
and-
body?
well
Because in the
actually,
body, you're like, oh, she can survive that. She's going to survive that.
yeah well and then when she gets shot on the forehead I'm like
Well, she got shot in the cheek.
cheek.
yeah
Technically.
you're
first
right
time.
you're right
So
I'm
you're
like,
like-
well maybe that could still be could have been her on
Because
the
they didn't
interview.
show that right away. They showed the shooting in the face, and you thought, oh, she's dead. And then they showed her and it's in the cheek, and she's still breathing. You're like, oh, she is going to survive.
It could still be
Right,
her.
right, yeah.
And then
You
when
got
he's
emotionally
ding,
into
ding,
it.
ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding. I'm like, okay, yeah, clearly it can't be her.
And then-
Okay, it must be
yeah.
the sister.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I have one suggestion for that part. I would have preferred that instead of it being the woman in the hallway that came upon him shooting the Tara, I would have preferred it been her sister.
You mean
mean
instead
the
of being the homeless woman?
You mean the cat
Yeah,
lady?
homeless. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
The
Doll
whatever
lady,
the
really.
doll
Doll lady,
mom,
I guess.
yes. I was
right
thinking
there.
about that, and I'm like, oh, that would have been. I felt like that would have been better because then it would have just been so much shock to the sister. But obviously, things played out differently, and the way he did it, it worked out.
Yes.
But that was the first thing I'm like, ooh, that would have been like, imagine just coming up on that and seeing somebody just unloading a clip on your.
I mean,
family
that whole
member, you know.
whole part, man. Like, you know,
You got into it.
He's,
You
he's,
bought into it.
He's like out of stuff to do, so he's like, okay,
Right.
and he just goes and comes back out with a gun.
Well, and-
you know what I mean?
And I think
Right.
like
Says,
that.
fuck the romance of a stabbing and
Right.
being
He's like, I'm
creative.
done.
He's
I'm
like,
done playing around.
I'll
Like,
just
boom,
shoot
boom.
you in the face.
I already just
don't
cut a woman in half. I'm
Right.
But I think
just want it to
that
be over.
that right there.
Like he just was sick of. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That right there is like that is what makes a classic horror character. The character that doesn't have to run after you because he knows he's going to get you eventually. You know, he knows he's given you just enough damage that I'll come back and finish it. I mean, in other words, it's like just that confidence in your ability to kill people that you just don't need to. I can stop and get another clip. I don't have to like grab
Right.
something from around me. I
Right.
can just give it
She's
time.
on the floor. I'm out of clip. Stay right there. I'll be right back.
Right.
And you know, and goes. And he wasn't afraid of the cops when the cops were coming.
Yeah.
The sirens are blaring all around the place when he drives the car through the side of the door. You know, drives it through the door. And he's sitting there listening to the jazz music.
Yeah.
Going, da-da-da-da. There's sirens going around outside. It's like he's not panicking. He didn't give a shit.
I
That's
was-
scary as shit.
His
I was a-
tricycle game's on point.
Yeah,
too.
that's,
Yeah,
he's-
yeah.
he's-
I was a
he's
fan of
tricycle
the
maniac.
fact that he even
Yeah.
used a gun. I like
I
that because
like-
that
I
came
love
out of
that.
left field.
Yep.
You knew he had a bag of shit.
Yep.
You know, with knives, blades, and things like that. And then I was wondering, I'm like, is he just waiting for her to hit him? And then he just whips out the gun. I'm like, it kind of, to me, that was like a homage to Indiana Jones, right?
Oh yes.
You know, he's
Oh,
getting
yes.
the shit kicked out of him,
And the
it's
guy's
like,
swinging a knife
yeah,
around. He says,
and he's
"Ah,
just like,
fuck
all right,
this."
fine, boo. But yeah, there's. Speaking of little homages, I felt like the beginning scene of Art kind of cleaning his blades and doing all that stuff or putting his stuff together reminded me of like Nightmare on Elm Street when Freddy's making
Sure,
his,
making the knife.
yeah, making his finger glove and everything. His finger glove, his bladed glove. But yeah, I noticed a lot of little things like that during the movie that I don't know if they were intentional, but that was, you know,
Well-
some of the music kind of reminded me of Halloween a little bit in some parts.
To me, I don't think that was necessarily homage or anything like that. I think it was sort of just sticking to the tropes. What makes a good movie? The killer cleaning his gun, cleaning his blades, cleaning his glove, building his glove. It's sort of just the sequence of what somebody does to show that this is a killer who's serious, right? So I think it's more of like adding to the tropes to it as
Sure.
opposed to being an homage to any one specific thing. I think it was more coincidental that it was like Freddy making his glove.
Well, thanks.
But-
forget it. Then.
But
I'm done.
but
home.
But it's not a bad analogy because they could have intended that. It still played out as the right sort of way to do that scene.
Sure.
Right?
Whilst I didn't necessarily read anything specific about that, one thing I did read was that they did make a conscious choice to not have any color on Art's costume. They didn't want any kind of correlation, but any thought of correlation between him and Pennywise, and so they purposely made him so that he was just black and white.
So now I didn't read this, but I assumed this. There was a reason for that, and the fact that he was a mime. What other mime do you know that was all black and white?
Marceau.
Marcel Marceau.
Marceau.
So I think this was more of a spin off of that character as well. I mean, yes, they wanted to separate him from Pennywise, but they also wanted him to be a mime, specifically, kind of clown. Black and white, that's Marcel Marceau.
Okay.
Nobody knows who Marcel Marceau is, I assume.
He's a French guy. We hate the French. But so again, so like in our realm of like, yes, I know it's a movie. So if he doesn't talk, why did he go in the pizza place? Did he go
after the girls?
Just to spook the girls.
Really?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think he was just trying to freak them out. I think he enjoys seeing how they react to him being there, staring at them. And he's not very intimidating looking, like physically.
No.
It's just
Obviously,
his character is one thing, but
he sat on his lap and was like,
yeah,
whatever.
right. They were just messing with him.
But
you
he
know?
was intrigued with who I thought was going to be the heroine at the beginning.
Tara.
Sarah.
Tara.
because when he saw her and that car had broken down and they kind of caught each other's eye and he was like, oh, wow. I think he was just intrigued with her. And that's why he ignored the blonde when they were in the pizza place.
Right.
Because he was really interested in Tara, not the blonde.
Because she was trying to be a skeleton, and Tara and the other one,
Dawn.
Dawn
Dawn was the
just trying to be a
scarecrow.
scarecrow.
She was a scarecrow from Wizard of Oz.
Oh, really?
Mm.
What did you think
So-
she was?
It's so funny. You're right. Now I'm thinking about
She had a hat with straw.
because of the hat. You're right, but like the rest of her outfit looked way more like piratey.
Well, because it was a sexy scarecrow.
Oh God. So I do have a question,
love
and
that
this
when
might be
girls do
looking a
that.
little too deeply into
Okay.
it. Do you think Art would have not killed Tara had she not taken the ring off that he gave her?
That's a very interesting question. I don't think it's one we can honestly answer. I think it's a
she had it
possibility.
on, and she was walking along, and she just goes, ugh, and then throws it off. I
And
mean,
he saw it. And you know what? Even the simple fact that when he was putting it on, she was like, get away from me kind of thing.
yeah.
That could be possible. But he still tried to, like, woo her over
But see, I think
by sawing her friend in half in front of her.
right. I mean, I
as an
think
offering?
I think at the end of the day, it's like he's just a sadistic fuck. I mean,
Well, yes.
because at the end of the day, it's like okay, so yes, maybe he went into the pizza place to follow the girls, but he then went into the bathroom and shit all over the bathroom.
Was there blood in that too, or was that just me?
I think it was just a reddish brown.
Because
Yeah.
if you look on the toilet, on the back of the seat, that's definitely shit. But then
Yeah.
on the seat itself, there looked like blood. So I
He
don't know.
needs a colonoscopy.
He
Maybe
should
he's
probably
got
go-
some
he should probably
hemorrhoids
go to the
going on
doctor.
there.
Checked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
think
needs
so.
to get checked
He's
out.
okay.
Art's hemorrhoid.
Yeah.
He's a nice
Yeah.
lower.
Yeah.
Right. God knows what he eats. So.
Oh,
Yes.
Jesus.
I think he was just. I mean, he obviously in the beginning of the movie he was prepping to go do some damage, and he
Right,
ran
right.
into them,
Yeah.
and he's like, okay,
You know what?
Well,
We'll start with you.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One thing,
Just
I mean,
bad timing.
just practicality. It's like I do hope he double bagged.
Oh, Jesus.
The hefty bag, because it's like he had some sharp things in there. I'm sorry, even with a hefty bag, that would have just
Well,
gone
I
straight
mean,
through
of
the-
course, that was the one part of the movie where I'm like, after you figured out what was in the bag, you're like, okay, yeah, he'd have a hard time carrying that around. That
Okay,
way.
well let's bring this up. Mike, what do we always say? What are the three
It's a
words?
movie. It's a movie. I know, but that was so.
That is a
But I
pretty
get
blatant,
it. But I get it.
Yeah.
I get it because I also had a big problem with the doll woman, the homeless lady that was in
Yeah.
there, because when he killed her, and he cut off her front, and cut off her. When he was there, he had like the full frontal, and then when you saw her, it looked kind of like somebody just slapped jelly on her boobs,
Right.
and you're like, well, that's not good. I'm totally separated. from the
$35,000.
story. Well, I get it. I get it. But that was the only, all the other scenes in there, I bought into every one of them. I thought the special effects were fantastic. That one, I was like, wait a minute. And then it showed that she had a strip of hair removed
Right.
from her head. And then when you see Art, he's got a
It's the
full
thing.
wig. And you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, but I mean, her, like, her
Okay.
hair would have gone back, and I mean, there's more hair on top.
But it
and-
was styled like Farrah fucking Fawcett.
See, that to me was like another homage to Silence of the Lambs.
I get it, but what I'm saying was a bad
Jamie
special
Gum.
effect point.
Jamie Gum.
It was a low point. When I say this movie was near perfect, I don't mean all those little points are perfect. I'm ignoring those because of the fact that overall, the enjoyment of watching this was sensational. The simple fact that it was terrifying and hilarious at the same time, and I'm talking the exact same time. When he's cutting the woman in half, and he looks over at Tara with a laugh like, "This
Yeah, I
is
know.
great, isn't
That's
this
the best
great?"
part.
And
I
as
thought
he's
he.
cutting,
See,
I'm
I
like,
took that as
"Oh
him.
my God."
Like, aren't you impressed?
Right,
Like
exactly
he's like,
what
look
he's
what I'm
doing.
doing. Like, this
Yeah,
is, you haven't
but
seen
he's
this
laughing
before.
the whole time. It's like
Sick. He's
I'm-
sick, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm horrified that he's cutting this woman in half. I felt the pain in my crotch from her getting cut open, and yet I was still laughing because he's looking at her laughing.
And they
No tampon's gonna
played
fix
that
that.
out too. Like it wasn't like a 5-second
no,
scene.
no,
It
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
on going.
They got their money
I mean,
out
it
of
was
that.
like
Yeah, they
it
got their
just.
money out of that
I'm
shit.
like, okay, that's enough. Okay, I guess
He's
there's
not
more.
done. Oh, he's going
that's
all the way
enough.
through the head too.
Right.
Right, right.
He's past the backbone now. He's actually
Yeah.
going halfway
Yeah.
through the skull before he stops. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Which was well done. That whole scene, just well done.
And that's still talked about. I had not seen Terrifier until my buddy Josh, shout out to Josh, had told me to watch it. I had seen a trailer for it, and because I'm not much of a gore fan, but he said just watch it, and he didn't tell me anything about it. He just said just watch it, so I did watch it, and I was, immediately texting, what the fuck was that?
Right.
Type of thing.
Right.
my wife, on the other hand, would not like this movie.
Oh, see, I have not shown this to my wife, just because I do want to get her opinion on it, because there are some references that I have said. So.
I watched.
Do I
this
need to
with
retell my
wife.
joke? Is that what Lon wants me to do over there?
I think Lon does
Is that what
want-
he's laughing at?
This show is a fucking mess.
We got
It's
all
sort of
this
like,
fancy
oh my
equipment.
God.
Yep, but you got to know how to use it, right?
You know, like if you go to
Oh,
CNN
Lord.
Tower right now, there's people in the control booth who we're like, is that light on? No, it's not light on. This light's flashing. What does that flashing light mean? Everyone deals
Sir,
with the
these
same
lights
thing.
keep blinking out of sequence, sir. What do we do?
All we got is these flashing
Get
lights.
them to blink in sequence.
Yes.
It appears to be jammed.
You know,
Oh my God,
I'm,
there's a jam all over it.
I'm half tempted to just leave all of this in,
Oh, I
just so
absolutely
people
would.
can
We
see all
should.
the
But
ridiculous.
Well, we haven't explained what happened.
Yeah.
No, that's true. I don't know if we need to. I
Well,
might
well,
show
we-
it.
This is our
I might
third
just show
take from Josh.
Yes.
On.
Well,
we got
yeah.
to Josh. We got to Josh, and all hell broke loose.
So
Yeah,
depending
it's
on
his
what parts
fault.
Lon
Thanks,
leaves
Josh.
in, we had technical
The OG
issues.
shake.
This little device here was flashing red on the record button, so we stopped. We started up again, and
Somebody forgot to do the audio.
and yet it was recording.
it was
actually
recording
did
audio,
record.
but now all of a sudden it wasn't recording audio because I noticed it, and so at least we're recording audio now.
Oh
You
my
would think
God.
by, what are we on, like episode 32?
I don't even
something like that.
fucking know.
That's all right.
Anyway, we are professional.
So what movie are we watching?
Terrified.
Terrifier. Right. Terrifier. It was good.
It was good. I thought it was excellent. Like
Recommended.
to the point that when the second movie came out, I couldn't wait to see it.
Have you guys? You have not reviewed the second one.
No.
I would like,
No,
I
we
would
haven't
like to be
reviewed
here.
it.
When
But
you
if
do it.
anybody seeing this
It's on the
wants us
list.
to, we'll make sure we have the audio. And
Yeah,
the video
I don't know
and
if we
everything all
can't.
I know.
I don't know if we cannot review that movie.
Oh, we have
almost
to. Yeah.
But I will ask this. So in the movie, at the end of the movie, did anybody expect it to become more supernatural like it did?
No.
That was the only
did you
part
think of
that that was the only part of it that I guess I got disconnected from a little bit.
I know where you're going.
Totally agree. Totally
I,
agree.
I agree because it's like all the way up to that point you thought it was just a sadistic person that every time he was being killed or hurt he wasn't hurt that badly.
Right.
But then the whole thing, and obviously everyone noticed that the gloves.
Yes.
It's like I was like, okay, so supernatural much. I mean, at least in Halloween, they didn't really kind of play on that until like
Few shows
4
in.
or 5.
Yeah, right,
I mean,
right,
when
right.
you started realizing that he just
Same
couldn't
thing with
die.
Voorhees.
Yeah,
I feel like they were just trying to find a way to leave an open door for a sequel. But there's probably a lot of other ways they could have done it that would have been better. And
Yes.
just
No.
without going into 2, but just going into 2 for a second. I think even though they really played into that in 2, his character and the way he did it still just like I looked straight past that.
Right.
See, I liked it. Because it came out of left field. Like you wouldn't think that. Oh, he's gonna put a gun in his mouth and blow his brains out. Like you wouldn't think that, or you thought, oh, they're gonna talk him out of doing it or something, and kind of like in what was it, Halloween 4, where they capture him and put Michael Myers in jail,
Right.
type of thing. It's one of those things where I thought that's what was gonna happen, and then when he blew his brains out, you're like,
I
Oh, shit,
100% agree with you.
Okay, yeah, and
Because simply because he was down, he's stabbed in the foot and he's down, and she comes up to him again and he pulls out a gun. You're like, what? He's allowed to use a gun?
yeah,
Out of left field. You're not prepared for that.
Yep.
He's stabbing her and the cops come. He's like, oh, I'm going to give up. You're like, oh, he's pulling the gun. He's going to shoot the cops. No, he shoots himself
yeah,
in the
or
face.
suicide by cop or something
you're
is
like-
what I thought was
Right.
gonna happen.
What? You see,
Yeah.
he actually killed himself? Left out of field. Or comes out of left field. They did that constantly through the movie, so I completely agree with you. They did that because nobody was expecting that to happen.
Although I also would make the argument of the fact that at the end of the day, there were 2 cops that rolled up on him, rolled up on a scene that was shocking. He probably could have shot both of those cops.
Sure,
Because
sure,
they
they were
probably
noobs.
wouldn't have thought about
Yeah.
shooting him back in time
Yep.
because they were still processing the scene that they rolled up on.
Right, but he wasn't afraid of them by any means because he kept eating the chick's face off which I think was a little bad.
I think
editing
he
'cause
knew
you
he
didn't
was
know.
fucked though. Like
But-
I think,
but I
and
don't think he
and
did.
he didn't. Well, no, but
I think he thought he had a way
But
out
why
the whole
else
time.
would he? Why else would he? Well, of course, the supernatural part, I guess, if you
Yeah.
connect that. But I don't know. I just that was the part that I got disconnected from. That was the only part,
Sure.
and it wasn't. It didn't ruin anything for me. It
Right,
just
right. It
it
was
just
just
kind of left me
jarring.
like,
Yeah, I know. I
okay,
get
let's see where it goes. I knew that at the time I watched this, I knew there was a second one already. So I guess maybe that changed the way I felt about it. But yeah, that was weird, and I think that part, even as it plays out in the second one, I still think that his character just overcomes all that.
Agreed. He plays it so well. It's the dichotomy between him being funny and him being serious, and that made him psychotic. That made him bipolar, and that made him dangerous, because you're laughing at it, and then it's like, oh shit!
you
Now
do-
he's serious. When he
Yeah.
looks at Tara in the restaurant, dead-eyed like that, you're like, holy fuck!
Yeah.
Well, and
That's
and
scary
then the other
shit.
thing that's super interesting is, and then you actually had the complete opposite of that with she's actually called the cat lady in the tunnels, where it's like, you have that moment of
That fake compassion.
let's say tenderness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered
was all
that. I
fake.
wondered if that was like part of it to get her close to him, right? Like, I think the whole sucking the thumb, and then because obviously,
he was having fun.
yeah,
He was
I think it
just
was
having
all
fun.
a big joke. I mean, and she
Right.
even says that. She says he's laughing while he's hurting these people or
Right.
whatever. So I think
Right.
she knew that there was something not right about him, but she just wanted her baby back, right?
Right.
I
She
want my
thought she
baby
was
back. I
getting
want my
through to
baby
him. And
I knew it. I couldn't go.
my
What
baby
did you
back,
say?
baby back.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Baby
want
back,
my
baby
baby
back.
back.
So I got a question.
Mhm.
How different would this movie be if he spoke?
It wouldn't be as creepy.
Really good at
It
really
would,
good question.
It would
Really
not
good
even be
question.
anywhere near as creepy. In fact, it
I would
might
love him to
be
have like
terrible.
a voice
Yeah.
like Mike Tyson or something. Really.
Again, that would distract. I totally agree with that. There's so many characters that I've seen before in other shows and other movies and cartoons and whatnot that if they speak, they ruin it. Would anybody here, anybody Star Wars fan, would you want Grogu to speak? It would almost detract from it
Right.
because he's funnier silent with his actions than he is otherwise.
It forces you to pay attention to their
It
face.
forces you to pay attention to the little actions, so you watch his communication through his actions.
See,
So he
even
doesn't
Michael
slow
Myers
laughing.
breathes heavy.
Sure.
I mean, like he,
Absolutely.
Jason
Well, Jason's
obviously.
the same way, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
And the
and then
little head
Leatherface,
tilts
is,
and
or whatever the hell he does, but
Right,
Who?
But
Oh,
Leatherface.
Leatherface, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't being. I
I know.
didn't hear what you said.
I know it's a bad impression. Jeez, call me out on it.
I've heard that noise before.
but I think it's
Usually
actually,
it's a night with my wife, but otherwise I wouldn't recognize it.
but also I think it's actually
Those are the good nights.
Right,
it's
right.
a funny conversation to have for the fact that it's like, because I'm like, oh, the best. In my brain, I was like, the best horror characters don't say anything.
Mhm.
But then you have Freddy,
Yeah.
who is a classic horror character,
Yep.
and
But he's
like,
pun heavy.
part of
But
what
that was
makes
his
him
act. That was his
exactly.
angle.
Yeah,
That
if
was his
he
angle,
if he
the
didn't
quips,
speak, it would be. It
See,
would be
but I
puns.
feel like
Right.
he was more scary in the first few because he didn't say as much.
Agreed.
You're right. It wasn't quite as punny.
Agreed. And
Yeah.
he actually didn't have the deep demonic voice. He had a high pitched, crazy person's
Right.
voice.
Yep.
When he's running through the hallways, "Hee," and scratching his arms stretched out in the hallway or in the alleyway, that was scarier the hell to me compared to the quips. But I think they in that movie specifically, in that series, they knew it was all about the comic kills.
Right.
They all knew it was about how unique and weird of a kill can we make it. Let's make it funny. Let's have fun with this. So they stepped away from the first movie. The first movie was a different movie than the second, third, fourth, fifth,
Well,
sixth, seventh, eighth,
and
ninth,
also
and
I
10th.
think it's one of these things where it's like a lot of those franchise movies,
They were learning as they went.
they were learning as they went, but also the point is they were not. I don't think a lot of them really, by the very fact, like it was called Nightmare on Elm Street. It wasn't called Freddy Krueger.
Right.
It was about the nightmare, and Freddy Krueger was just part of that nightmare.
Until Freddy's Revenge, right?
Well, right, but that's exactly the point. The point is like, and that was the switch that basically said, hey, no, this isn't about
No
the,
longer
the,
Elm
the
Street.
nightmare.
Yeah.
In fact, really nothing. There was not a relation to Elm Street
Right.
very
It was
much.
it was all about Freddy.
Yeah.
And again the same thing with Friday the 13th when it suddenly became like Jason versus Freddy when the names get called out, then all of a sudden it's not about so much
Do
about
you,
the
do you think
story.
do you think that's going to happen with Art here?
Oh,
I mean, I feel like it's already starting.
It
kind
is,
but
simply that he's got a name, Art the Clown.
Yeah.
That was established way back in the beginning, not the mini short one or whatever, but it was in All Hallows Eve.
Well, like,
that
was-
gives him a name. Now he's
yeah.
going to be Art the Clown
yeah,
forever.
like
It's not gonna be
Pinhead.
Terrifier,
That
Art
was
the
just
Clown.
the nickname on the set, right? Like
That's true.
That was not actually his name in the book
That's
or
true.
anything else, but that stuck. So I mean, I think even if they didn't name it, I wonder
And
what
Ghostface
Ghostface, yeah,
It was never called Ghostface in the first 2, maybe 3 movies.
correct.
Well, and it was only because of the mask. That,
Right, because they had no other name for him. Everybody wanted to give him a name like Leatherface or Freddy Krueger or something. But since nobody knew who the killer was,
Chucky.
they just said, well, he's got a ghost mask, so Ghostface.
But I, mean, I think the argument there is it's all about money, right? So in other words,
What, movies? Come on.
No,
Stop
No,
it.
no,
never.
Stop it.
But in other words, it's
Liar.
when you have a movie, when you have a director that's creating a movie that's also the writer, and gets low budget funding, he creates that movie the way he wants that movie created.
Yes.
Even 2, which got more funding, but still it was very much a Damien Leone movie. It's like 100% in. Like now that it has 3 apparently has like a way bigger budget. You now have more people that are starting to tell you or give you notes.
What I would like to see in 3 is I would like to see him say, "Okay, you gave me this big budget, but I'm gonna save as much of it. He's gonna put like a cap on his own, but like, okay, you know what? It looks like the difference between 1 and 2 was this amount of money. I'm only gonna do that for 2 to 3, and then the rest of it maybe give to stand-ins or whatever, just extras and things like that.
I think
to
that's
just,
idealistic from a nice guy point of view.
but
that
I just
ain't gonna happen.
well, no, I mean to force himself to stay true to. I mean, because all those
Well, that
effects,
would be
all
great,
that
but
stuff.
that's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, I agree. But it could go the other way too, where like now the effects are 10 times better.
That's what's
things
gonna
of that nature. But I'm afraid and I don't think he will do this. He seems very practical with his effects, but it could go the CGI route, which I really don't want.
I agree, but
So-
he's good with the practical effects. I think he's
Yeah.
going to try to stick
I
with
think
that.
that's yeah.
So I will say it's like I think a lot of it is, again, it comes down to who he's getting the money from, how much say they want in the results of that
Agreed.
money.
Agreed.
I
It's a
think
fine line.
undoubtedly, whenever you have a director, and producer that looks at the last movie they did, looks at all the things that they had to cut short because they didn't have the money, and now all of a sudden they have the money. It's hopefully they'll just simply improve on those things that they weren't able to do before. I think, unfortunately, to kind of what you were saying, it's a lot of people, a lot of movies that have suddenly got a huge budget have suddenly, rather than the special effects department, which is basically like this guy Stan and his friend Joe.
Yeah, but Joe's really good at it.
Joe's really good at it.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they have the studio's prop department that is now doing
Yes,
it.
but that's a dangerous fine line. man.
Exactly, that's the whole point. The point is it's like I think it takes a very strong-willed person to basically be able to say, kind of like again to what you were saying, of saying it's like, no, special effects on the last movie were $1 million. I think if I had $2 million, I could do better, but I don't need the $20 million that the studio is giving.
But that true. But somebody gives you $20 million, you're taking $20 million.
Right.
So hopefully he does the right stuff with it, and hopefully he pays his actors more, gets some good actors in there,
I'm
maybe
sure
a
he
couple
will.
cameos instead of just blowing it on special effects or CGI, I should say.
or cocaine.
Well, cocaine would be okay. That might make the movie better.
So I have a question.
Sure.
If you want to close it out with this, that's fine.
Yes.
Everyone should name their favorite major franchise killer.
Well, I know yours,
What is it?
Michael Myers.
It is.
I was going to say Colonel Cochran for him, but that's
Colonel Cockring? What?
Colonel
Cochran.
Colonel Cochran?
Cochran,
Okay.
yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Cochran. That's a good one. I mean,
There's a reason for this.
I mean, I probably honestly would say Michael Myers only for the fact that Halloween was Halloween 3, again to be honest, was probably the first horror movie that I really remember.
Really?
Yeah, Halloween. I remember going to the video store, hearing everyone else talking about like how great Halloween was, watching Halloween 3 and going, "There's no Michael Myers in this," being a little
Right.
bit disappointed initially, and then obviously growing to love the
Am
movie.
I that much older than you? Because I remember the first movie
I remember the first movie.
way more
That was
than
the first.
I
My first.
remember.
Yeah.
I remember the first movie and the second movie, and I remember being pissed off at the third one originally when it came out
Me
because I
too,
thought,
yeah.
no, Michael Myers, this is a piece of shit.
Right.
And then moving on, waiting, and then the fourth one came out, and I was happy again. But franchise-wise, did you answer your question?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think Michael Myers is still
Okay.
probably my franchise.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lynch.
That's a tough one. I would
A
lean
franchise we're talking now,
Yeah,
not just
franchise.
a standalone.
I would lean more towards Michael Myers, but that's a tough one because I'm also kind of Hannibal Lecter.
Oh,
I-
technically,
you
It's
not
a franchise.
necessarily
It's a
franchise,
franchise.
but I guess so because of TV show. And
Yep.
Flashing,
So,
fuck it, it's
all
recording.
right, yeah, let's
Um,
wrap it up then.
Okay, so and I would say one of my favorite horror movies is still like Trick or Treat, but that is not a franchise.
Yes.
But if we're talking classic Halloween horror that started me on the genre, that really took me on, that I was waiting to see this movie, even when it came on television, edited and whatever, was the Halloween franchise.
So where does Art the Clown rank against your favorite?
Definitely not
franchise
my
killer.
favorite.
He'd be in my top 5.
He would definitely be in my top 5 as well. And really, I don't consider him a franchise yet.
No, but I'm saying where does he
He's a-
rank? He's not a franchise yet.
Right.
But where does that character, where does he rank?
I honestly,
he's right
I was
up there.
never
He's right
much
up there.
of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, so he's
Agreed.
above Leatherface for me.
Agreed. I think it'd be Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Art the Clown.
But so my point is that he has superseded some of these long-standing
He's,
horror
he's
icons.
above.
Oh,
He's
yes.
above Freddy Krueger for me.
That's a pretty big accomplishment.
yeah. He's above Freddy Krueger for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with Freddy Krueger. Because I think it's like Freddy Krueger. To be honest, the same thing we talked about before of like what they went with. They went all comedy and whatever. It's like I didn't necessarily like that.
No, I think the first two
it got
were
too corny. Did it
were
become
good,
too much
but-
of a clown?
Yeah, it get well. Oh, I'm good.
I
It got
see what
too.
you
It
did
got
there.
it got to
Thank
be
you.
too comedic, and you
Forced
were
comedic.
less interested in.
It was puns. It was all.
Yeah,
puns.
I don't know. I kind of veered away from that one after a while. But
Does
yeah,
where does Art fit in your top?
I mean, he's. I would say he's above Jason. He's above Freddy.
Wow.
He's
above
above
Leatherface.
Jason.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
I just
he's
think
definitely
it-
above Leatherface for me.
I just think he's freakier, man.
Agreed. I think he.
You
fit
really have
right
no
in.
clue what he's going to do.
You
Yeah.
got it.
And he has
fit
no limit
right
to
in.
what he will do.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. He's
And-
way above Pennywise, which if
Oh,
you want to
yeah.
go clown to clown, I'd like to see those two clown to clown. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
Art would kill him.
Trivia?
I know we're flashing, but
Let's get trivia.
I four.
Oh yeah, trivia.
I have
Yeah.
4 trivia questions.
All right, I've got.
Go for
5.
What was
4.
the name of the massacre?
What was the name of the
The
massacre?
massacre. So right at the very beginning, when they first talk about when they first go on the interview at the very beginning of the movie, they talk about like
Right.
it's the so and so massacre. She survived the so and so massacre.
You're right. It was the name of the town or something, wasn't it?
Well,
It's
somewhat.
I can name it if you guys don't know.
Yeah,
but,
go.
Miles County.
Yep.
Massacre.
Miles.
Okay. What was the name of the pizza place?
Was it Steve's Pizza?
No.
It's. I want to say. I could be completely wrong, but it's like Diller's.
No, it wasn't Dill- it was an Italian
Diller's?
name. It was Bocciarelli's
Miller's?
or something like that.
I don't
No.
know, hold on.
You were you were close, but far away at the same time.
Okay.
Vito's.
Deer Hills.
Deer
Pizza-
Hills, there
Deer
you go.
Hills
See, it
Hills
is.
Pizzeria. And so what's actually funny is it was actually Andy's Deer Hills Pizzeria. It was where it was actually filmed.
Was the actual
was a
name of the
nice
pizzeria?
That was the actual name. So no,
It was
but they
a
didn't
real
have to change.
pizzeria?
They didn't have to change anything. Like the costumes, those weren't people obviously who worked for the. They were
But they
actors,
were there as
but that was their
uniform.
uniforms
Wow.
that they had on and stuff.
Very
and that's
cool,
why they
very
didn't
cool.
have to redo the pizza boxes and
All
stuff.
right. Trivia
Um,
with a lesson.
What was the name of the doll?
Yeah.
Should I say it or you want to
You
say
can
it?
go ahead. I already know it, but
You
go
know
ahead.
it?
I don't.
Emily.
Yes. Okay, and this is another funny one. No, I don't want to say it's funny. It's not funny at all.
Funny, not funny?
What was the name of the extermination company?
So, this was one of my favorite things about the movie, is because the name was sort of silly,
Yes.
a little ridiculous. Are you looking it up, Logan? Do you remember
go
it?
ahead. No.
It was Sterling Brothers Exterminating.
Yes, they spelled
Company.
it wrong on the truck.
Exterminating. Not exterminating or extermination. It was exterminating.
Yes. Yes.
And
That,
that was hilarious.
that was listed as a goof.
That was a goof. I think that was on purpose because it's funny.
Exterminating.
Exterminating.
Exterminate.
right.
Exterminate.
Anyway.
I have one
Go
tough
ahead.
one for you.
Oh, I'm ready. Oops, shit.
What kind of TV in the beginning was Art watching?
It was. Go ahead.
What was
Did you
the
have more?
model number?
Model
or
oh,
model type?
number.
Model type.
Oh, it was a Zenith
It is correct.
I was going to say Zenith.
Ah.
I should have. Yeah.
because it was a smaller than normal TV. It was an old vintage Zenith. Actually,
Sure
it wasn't
was,
even
yes.
an '80s Zenith. It was like a '70s or '60s.
I
That
Zenith.
grew
was
up
like a
close to the
13-inch.
Zenith plant.
Amen, brother. Right? Because you know that's why you
That
have
explains
a
that
large
third
head.
leg you have
Yeah.
hanging
Right.
around.
Just want you guys to know that about me.
So this was kind of answered already by Logan, I believe. What county were they in?
Mill.
That would be Miles County.
Miles.
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 And who was Art's first kill?
Well, the guy from the pizza.
And what was his name?
Sal.
No, that's racist
guess.
against Italian Americans.
I'm
personally offended. Come on.
Give me the
You were
rock
gonna say
eyebrow.
Vito or something,
Yeah,
weren't
you're
you?
like,
He yells
You're
it
giving me
out. When he's,
Guido.
he yells it out when he's cleaning the toilet. Like,
He
"Oh,
did,
I want
he
time
did.
and a half. I don't
He did.
remember what it was.
Steve.
Very good, Steve. Wow.
Nice.
Did you just look up the name of the pizza guy?
I just looked up the name of the actors.
Oh,
and
you
Steve
did.
was the only one that I didn't
And
recognize.
it's sort of
that,
cheating.
All right,
You
one
consider
other
that
tough
cheating.
one.
Go ahead.
What radio station was the sister that was coming to pick them up?
Oh, I
I know the
she?
frequency. It was 101.
right.
I'll give you a hint for
I
any of the
almost wrote that down.
Chicagoland
Was it
people.
K something?
Yeah,
There
well,
used
they're
to
all
be
K, right?
a radio station. It began with a Q.
Q101.
Q101.
Yeah, it was 101.1.
You jumped right on that, Mr.
There we
80s.
go.
You
Yeah.
were like all over that, like white on rice.
I was.
All right, good.
That's
Brother. That was
very-
it for me.
That's racist.
That's good for me.
Anyway,
Cool, cool.
thank
just
you, everybody.
ruined the whole show.
So,
Right?
bottom line, I think everybody around this table liked the movie. Recommend checking
Thumbs
it
up
out
for sure.
Especially if you're a horror fan. Definitely check it out if you haven't
If you're
yet.
not a horror fan, don't watch it.
What the fuck
Yeah.
you watching this for?
Yeah, exactly.
It would be a mistake.
We'll
if
take
you're
your
not a horror
subscription
fan.
though. So come on.
Yes.
But anyway.
It's definitely a like as many thumbs up as I could do.
Oh my god! I bet you would love to put more thumbs up, wouldn't you?
It's all about. It's all about
Okay, thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, folks.
Social media
around here somewhere.
over
Around
Logan's face,
here.
preferably, and
Done.
Stop the press.